Picking up where we last left off, we're talking about the duet number 7. And we're looking at the score with a pair of staves. And player 1, which is the top of each pair, has its own rhythm. Player 2, which is the bottom of each pair, has its own rhythm. And you'll notice that sometimes the notes correspond where they happen at the same time as each other, and sometimes they kind of fill in the gaps from each other. If you look at this, especially if you look at the dots of the note heads, like the actual just black dots, you can kind of, if you ever play guitars, it's almost similar to tablature in that you can kind of read it as like a graphic representation of what's going on. It's either something or nothing. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do player 1 all the way through. Now, I want you, this is the beginning of this video, so it should be relatively easy to come back here. Look at the time stamp right as I start clapping player 1, because hopefully this is still connected. I'm getting some bad connection signs. Still at 84 beats per minute. We're going to do player 1 all the way through. Now, don't worry about the stomping on beat 1. If you can still do that, that's great, but it's not necessary. It's not mandatory at the moment. But we're going to go all the way through player 1, counting out loud. I'll do it with you. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Second line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now I'm going to do that again without counting. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so now let's go to player 2. Let's count and clap all the way through player 2. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do player 2 again. This time you count. I won't. 1, 2, ready, count. Okay. Now, this time, remember I said take note of the space in the video. What I'd like you to do is go back to the first time I clapped through player 1, and I want you to clap player 2 along with it. And then when I drop the counts off, the thing that's going to tie us together, the thing that you're going to be able to hang on to, is going to be those counts. The counts don't change. So to bring it back to the beginning of my explanation of this rhythm exercise group, is that the counting and the meter, the underlying number of counts before we get back to 1, is the thing that we share in common, and then the rhythm is what we build on top of it. So test yourself, see how strong your counts are to see whether or not you can keep your place in this whole thing. And a good indication of that is that the last 2 claps should be clapping on count 3 with player 2, clapping on count 4 with player 1, right? If you get that, you were successful. Now, a couple of other things that you can do is to take note of how many times the claps happen at the same time. There are only 5 in the entire thing. the first measure, each part, clap, 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 all 4 counts, and then see if you can find it. See where the only other clap that happens at the same time. Take a look through, scan through, and you're looking for when the 2 notes are directly on top of each other, because that will give an indication of a temporary linking up of the 2 rhythms. And if you look at the beginning of the second stave, or second system rather, the second line of music, beat 4, player 1 and player 2 both clap. So that's something to look for. That is a very useful way to ensure, if you have the brain left over as you're doing all this, it's a way to kind of get a little reminder, yes, I'm in the right place, or no, that clap didn't happen at the same time. Maybe we're not in the right spot. I got to figure things out. And now the last thing I'm going to do here is that if you're feeling adventurous, you can play both of these at the same time. So if you've had experience as a pianist, then you're used to doing things like this already. You have a right hand part and you have a left hand part. So we're going to take player 1 and we're going to say that player 1 is the right hand. So my right hand is going to be on this conga over here. Light is okay on my drums here. And player 2 is the djembe. And I want a high sound over here and a low sound. And normally when you read music, the closer to the top of the page something is, the higher, whether it's on the staff, the 5 lines, climbing up the ladder, it gets a little higher in pitch, or more thinner sounding sometimes. And then likewise, lower on the page means lower pitch. So player 1, player 2, if you want to just clap one of these parts along, you're welcome to do that. If you want to try and do both, you're welcome to give it a shot. But this is what they sound like together. Now, really quickly, because I'm playing instruments and not clapping, I'm not going to be demonstrating rest the same way, because playing on a drum, if I actually want to stop the sound, I actually leave my hand down. So visually, I don't want you to be looking for showing the rests in this context. But if you're clapping, I do want you to try and do it on your own. 84 beats per minute. Here we go. Number 7. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So hopefully you made it through there. And of course, I counted through at that time, so you had something to hang on to. I'm going to do it one more time. No counts. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, now that's the end of this rhythm exercise group. The improv etude and the ostinato, those materials we'll be covering in different ways. The great thing, obviously, about YouTube is that at any point you can go back and rewatch any of this. And I'll add that you have the option to change the playback speed. So if, for example, something's going a little too fast, you can, on a mobile phone, you can easily go to play it at 0.75 the speed. The slower it gets, the worse the audio quality gets, just FYI. But if you're on a desktop, you can actually go and slow it down if you look in the change playback speed and you go into the custom menu, you can actually change it in increments of 5%. So if you say, I want to do that at 95% of the playback tempo, you can do that. And so that's a way to give your brain a little bit more time per measure to calculate this stuff. But otherwise, I want you to let me know if there's anything in this that felt like it was a little unclear. I went through it after you've had a chance to rewatch and pay attention to things that you may have missed the first time, if there's anything after all that, and after being able to look at the book, if there's anything you feel you missed, make sure to take note of it, and then we'll talk about it in class. Okay? Hope that helps, and I'll see you guys next time.